everyone, except the third child, knows that the last entry in a trilogy is almost always the worst thing ever. Call of Duty 3, Banjo 3, Halo 5, they're all terrible. But what about the third Modern Warfare game? Is that one bad too? It's alright. That doesn't matter. What also doesn't matter is, can you beat Modern Warfare 3 without taking any damage? Let me get you up to speed on what happened in the last Modern Warfare. Rolf's dad, right? He killed the skeleton man and set his body aflame while Russians went on a shopping spree in an airport. Fisher-Price and Dove Men Plus Care figured out that Rolf's dad is helping the Russians, so they track him down to the Rust multiplayer map and give the Covenant back their bomb, the knife, to Rolf's dad. Fast forward into the present, in the fictional past in the make-believe world of Modern Warfare 3, I take the role of Frosty the Snowman to join Delta Force in their fight to take back New York City. I got two important things to clear up before we go any further. The first is how this challenge works. It's so simple that even I can barely understand it. I play the game, shocking right, and anytime I take damage, I reload to the last checkpoint. Because checkpoints occur at somewhat predetermined times and locations, I can't abuse a save system to cheese my way through this. The second thing is something you're already wondering about. I can tell. Why am I so good at this game? Is it because I have more than 400 hours in Stardew Valley? Is it because I'm playing on the easiest difficulty? No, it's because Dell f***ing sucks. Basically, the Dell Gamer laptop I use to record all my gameplay did a little f***y by ruining every recording I did in the last 2 weeks. All the footage from the first 90 minutes I spent playing this game were lost. I had to start over, but more importantly, all the gameplay for my Battle for Bikini Bottom video was corrupted as well, so that video's never coming out. This is why I'm going through this mission fairly easily. I did it just about an hour earlier. All my prior failures are still freshly sealed in the space behind my eyebrows. By now, I've made my way off the street, pushed through a building of some sort, cleared out the museum gift shop of unhappy school children who didn't want to go to the museum in the first place, and began working through this area with steps on the right side. Generally, what you'll want to do in this sort of a challenge is stay back as far as possible, with cover to hide behind as often as you can to avoid being shot. Areas like the stock exchange can prove difficult if you don't learn to play the right way. There are a lot of enemies and dozens of locations that could pop out from behind. I'm playing on easy, so it's not like I'm dead the second anyone sees me. You'll sometimes be able to stand out in the open for a time, because the AI is almost as bad as my teammates when I play a game online. After we cleared out the rooftop and destroyed the jammer, I hid just below where the metal structure collapses because there are bad guys popping up on buildings across the street, and you can take damage when you call in your Predator missile. The bird picks us up, I man the gun because I'm the playable character, and the first on-rails section begins. These are always annoying. You're in a fixed position so you can't move, but you're given a legendary explosive minigun by Preston Garvey to help a new settlement that needs your help. And because you have that powerful weapon, you have to take on helicopters. In the original playthrough I had a lot more trouble with this, but like I said, I knew how things went. I generally remembered where the big birds came from, so I could complete the first mission and find myself under the sea with all the swordfishes, jellyfishes, and that one weird starfish. Firmly grasp the severed upper body of the mechanical shark to glide your way through the seas. Go under the pipe because this isn't an open world game, you have no free will. Detonate the charge, enter the submarine, and engage in the somewhat underwater silenced weapons part of this game. These close quarter sections of any mission are usually not very difficult. You're in such a confined space that you could shoot from the hip around any corner and get through this without any problem. Mr. Sandman blows the door open. You bullet time a few guys, wait patiently at your position to turn the Russians' torpedo container against them. Pilot a water boat through the middle of an active war zone with a neat backdrop and realistic water physics. Hit the ramp, enter the chopper. Don't go for that one on the right, you fucking idiot, and you're on to mission 3. Guess what? Soap isn't dead yet. Remember, almost doesn't count unless you're parallel parking or performing CPR. Price and I, my name Yuri, fended off the hostile forces while Dr. Nikolai do good medicine on Soap. Gunfight through the building and begin pushing through the town towards the evacuation station. I did take damage a good number of times here. Probably the most so far which would put this in like the top 20 worst parts of this game. There's nothing really that bad about it, it's somewhat close quarters, and I had a machine gun fit for a man at least 10% bigger than me. I think the problem is how patient I am, because I'm as patient as I am humble. I took the caring route by pushing through the problem with a few flashbangs and a gun to keep Soap alive. We made it across town, Price uncovered a toy car, and I took command. Recall what I said about the on-rail section and what kind of weapon you get. This UGV has 24 grenades and a sentry gun with infinite and bottomless ammo, which is why dozens of guys are sent your way in groups of like 5 or 6. And you can actually take damage here. What you need to do is grenade launcher the guys by the merry-go-round. Make sure you get them all as quickly as possible so you can immediately and endlessly focus your fire on the road where more guys will be showing up. Do not let go of the trigger. Leaving anyone alive for even a moment will surely cost you a small fraction of your life, causing you to reset again. If you think you're going around the corner too slowly, you're already going too fast. Pop the weasels on the balcony and turn to face the chopper. This big metallic will take a lot of damage, not really, to destroy. Then all that's left is a couple more helicopters and a few rabble-rousers to clear out. Remember what Doc Mitchell said when you got out of bed this morning. Watch as the RC car gets destroyed, fall into the drink, survive, barely, and you're done. The next mission puts me in the role of Andrei Kharkov, a good lad doing his part to protect the president. Things go sideways when the pilot decided to take his old squeeze down a dirt road instead of sticking to the agreed upon path. About halfway through the plane is when I got the AA-12, a fully automatic pump shotgun that fires so fast you won't even know it just fired. Your only clue will be that your right shoulder is in about 1,000 tiny pieces. With the princess rescued, the plane crashed. I did some slow wobbling and hobbling over the tree and through the molten debris field to Grandmammy's reload I go. There's this piece of wreckage that explodes when you get near it, and you can't be far enough away to not take damage. So, you can't beat Modern Warfare 3 without taking any damage. But if I stopped every time I failed a challenge, I wouldn't have even attempted to beat Tigger's Honey Hunt without burning down 100-acre woods. The remaining presidential protectors and I eventually made it through the wreckage and into a parking lot where we held off against a small armada's worth of army. There's a lot of people shooting in an open area. Your best strategy will be to not get shot. This isn't a baby game like Halo 2 on Legendary. Human bullets fly much faster than the silly putty ones the Covenant uses. You can't dodge these. Makarov, who is both alive and not dead, arrived in what was supposed to be our getaway car. He put a bullet in me, abducted the president, and stuck a bullet in my teeth. The next mission had Soap, Price, and Yuri navigating through the swamp in Sierra Leone in search of Makarov's Amazon delivery. The first chunk of this mission is waiting for enemies to pass and taking out small groups of them in less than 2 seconds. Obviously, damage causes you to reload the last checkpoint, but if you take any kind of damage here, you're doing the mission wrong. Price instructed me to sit atop a tower with a sniper rifle to provide cover while they searched buildings. Because the factory was a dead end and my bullets wouldn't resurrect this cow, our cover was blown and we began escorting ourselves through the hostile landscape. Then there was this part, the worst part yet. We were assaulted from all directions by foreign diplomats who have no interest in taking hostages. I spent a while here. Over time, you'll be attacked from many different places, but the problem is you can't really move from one place to another. You can't use the minigun on the back of the truck as Price instructs because you'll take damage by the time you blow up the second truck and get your feet back in the dirt. I tried sitting in the crevice across the road, but more guys showed up and bruised my back. In the end, I did what had to be done. Nothing. I did nothing. I laid there in the water like a little crocodile who was intimidated by constant gunfire and the sounds of people screaming as they die. There are some parts of this game where Price and Soap can die, failing the mission, but this isn't one of them. They did all the work. The way was clear, and I had to use the mortar to destroy a few trucks. This is just trial and error. The trucks come in on the same paths. A stray bullet can hit you, but if you position the landing zone of the flying shell shock to where the victims will be, their brains will be in a constant nightmare before you know it. From there, We kept going until we met up at the church. It wasn't really anything noteworthy, like most of this playthrough. A solid 20 to 80% of all enemy encounters in this game only took 3 or 5 resets to get through. After that many times, you generally know where the enemies will be located and can position yourself behind cover as you deem it appropriate. Inside the church, the cargo was nowhere to be found, so a different group of military guys searched a different location. From the safety of a Shipping Wars prop, nobody could touch me. The cargo was gone, of course, and my puny legs couldn't bounce me into the back of the truck for safety. Not that it really mattered. The maggots trying to kill us were woefully unprepared for my incredibly triple 360 grenade no-scope attack. Not long after a whole lot more people were sent to meet God, another on-rails section began, because it's not Call of Duty unless you want to shoot yourself. For most of this, I didn't take damage. Then I did, a lot. Aiming on the back of a truck isn't easy, and it's difficult to see what you're supposed to be shooting at in the first place. Thankfully, the power of lead and love prevailed. The train derailed itself and killed almost everyone inside. Video game logic dictated that we wash up right at the subway station where the bad guys were. Sometimes they had the high ground. Other times, the fucking p***s used martyrdom to drop grenades that menacingly rolled down the stairs towards me. Back in the warmth of the sun, we overturned a car with bullets. Some little bitch thought she was a bird, which threw off the natural order of the universe, causing her to combust into a cloud of toxic gas. The next mission was us rescuing the Vice President of America. I think. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. It started off strong when a big shrapnel ripped my head off. Then we landed on the shores of McDonald Beach and began our invasion. I didn't really kill anything here. Wasn't a whole lot to kill. My special eyes can't see through barbed wire for shit. But it took some effort to get to the brick wall without being turned into Swiss cheese. Once I did, it was like a full-scale battle. It's almost as if World War III is happening. A lot of places to be shot from. Just move from cover to cover. There are tanks and stuff that you can't do much about. You could shoot at them if you want, but it'd have about as much effect on the tank as it would Elmo. Here's a pro tip though, don't stand in front of the tank if you value your life. They'll bonk you on the thigh with the treads really hard and it'll sting a bit. I got to man another turret. That was a fun time until a rocket got stuck in my beard. Then we take the tank down into the parking garage, where I learned about the positive side effects of suicide. This was unpleasant for the same disgusting reasons any on-rail sections is traumatizing. Too much to shoot, and not enough shoot to shoot, I guess. I tried my best multiple times, but even if you blow up the cars to take out groups of people, you're surrounded on like 200 of your 360 degrees of existence. There were just too many people to make die without taking damage. I accepted failure on the attempt where I took very little damage. Disappointed my driver's ed teacher by giving a car that arrived at the stop after I did the right of way. Tanked more guys. The entire garage collapsed under the weight of Mr. Sandman, who might have not even been in the tank. I'm not checking the footage to verify that. And we continued our adventure outside. Pretty similar to the first half of the mission. Fairly standard combat, all things considered. At least it was, until this motherfucker pulled a Walking Dead to escape a situation that should have killed him because it really looked like he just got shot in the chest. But no, he's actually alive. Plot twist. With the VP safe and sound, I returned to Price and Soap to keep chipping away at Makarov by landing on the beach and calling in my chopper gunner score streak. Notice I didn't say kill streak. I can't get those, I'm not good enough. Do a little sit and shoot while the chopper gunner circles back around, call it in, advance, sniper rifle some guys, another chopper gunner. This is Child's Armageddon. We found Warby. Price gave him the Skyrim Adventurer treatment just before giving him the Courier 6 treatment, and the ghost of Sandman's past arrived to torment this entire metropolitan area. Nikolai's bird is weird and doesn't enjoy inhaling dust. He could not land here, so he retreated and we pursued. With only 3 minutes 30 seconds to make it to the helicopter, you'd expect this to take 3 minutes 30 seconds. But man, did it take longer than that. It was mostly because of that sentry gun. With it knocked unconscious and the stupid TV turned off, we scaled the tallest tower on the block at that specific address. The Sierra Madre dust cloud coated my esophagus, and we made our escape. The next mission takes us back to Chemical Charlie's hazardous gas world to capture the guy so synonymous with terrorism that he'd get a gun named after him in Infinite Warfare. That was a bad reference. Nobody played that game. The gas adds a neat little twist to this level. Doesn't really have any impact on anything, but it's there. After meeting up with a commander with a certain name I won't say, we, shot stuff. shot stuff outside, shot stuff through windows, got shot by a big stuff, called down air support to rain down shrapnel stuff. This is very much a Modern Warfare 3 fan's dream level of Modern Warfare 3. Down in the sewer, we took off our masks, don't do that, explored in the darkness, ignored the giant pile of human skulls. One of those Discord flashbang images finally got me, and we got ambushed again. Shocking that a soldier would get ambushed during a war. We survived, barely, and fled the scene in the back of a van. I didn't bother resetting when I took damage. Bullets have no effect on the tank, and there were too many things shooting to make damage, make not taking damage not avoidable. Yeah. We T-boned a fully occupied sedan, captured Volk, he screamed like a canary, and the next mission has God sending a big ship in the sky to rain down black and white hell. No reason to spend any more time here. Damage is impossible to take. However, after you're back to the boots on the ground gameplay, Call of Duty trademark, Modern Warfare trademark, 3 trademark is known for, and take damage, you can realize that you didn't get a checkpoint, so you have to do that AC-130 section again. Out of the sky, I obtained an MSR and got to work quick scoping all the bitches I could, using a broken aim assist to home my crosshair onto them without fail for an easy kill, because it takes real skill to do that, until I was sucked back into the air again to kill anything with a red box on it. Then all that's left to do is hold off on the road to France's Statue of Liberty until some with artillery blows out her kneecaps and she comes crumbling down. The ships that pass over that statue that's fallen into the sea will truly be standing on the shoulders of giants. The next mission tells a self-contained story that takes elements from past missions, elaborates on them, and passes details and characters onto the next mission as part of a greater story being told. With a lead on Makarov, the boys and I entered the water with our floaties, snorkels, and flippies to proceed through the water undetected. Then we split up. I accompanied Yuri while Price was off with someone else, maybe Nikolai. Together, we evaded bad guys, passed through buildings, did the old Call of Duty veteran trick by switching between your primary weapon and secondary weapon real quick to look like a dead body. Price just, killed the guy. I'd never seen anything like that. And the Battle of Prague began. I missed a tank with an RPG at point blank range, missed a knife at even pointier blank range. I missed something else too. I don't know what this script is supposed to say here. And generally was straight up not having a swell experience. I wrote in my diary that I really hated being f***ed by these giant turrets. What made it worse was when my bullets were MIA. A massacre happened. I chucked a grenade as a funny haha, in case someone thought they found a cool paperweight. Soap and I arrived at the church, Makarov arrived at the temple building. I provided cover for Price, he exploded, we exploded. Soap was temporarily an explosion. Price rescued us, and I had to carry Soap to safety. I again ignored any damage taken here. Couldn't fight back, no real reason to reset if it was out of my control. This alleyway was odd. I started having frame rate issues right when I got disconnected from PlayStation Network. Seemed like too big of a coincidence for it to not be related to losing my internets. Somehow the full might of the city's military and police wasn't enough to stop 3 guys, one of which exploded and the other 2 having just been blasted out of a building. From behind the cover of impenetrable plywood, I got my fucking head blasted off. We dragged Soap to safety. He went to the big shower head in the sky. He revealed something. I wormed my way across the floor and got betrayed by Price. The flashback revealed that Yuri was with Makarov every step of the way, but he spelled out slurs in Makarov's alphabet soup, which caused a rift between the two that ended with Yuri getting shot in the gut and arrested. To regain Price's trust, I had to do what he said when he said it, as he instructed me to do it, all while infiltrating another compound. I stopped taking this game seriously when it told me that killing too many prisoners was a bad thing. Clear out the room with the triple half-quad double-barrel shotgun, blow open a wall, parkour up the pipes, end all life in the kitchen, and if you're me, you'll have gotten to this part. It shouldn't be noteworthy in any way, but I, being stubborn, decided that I had to run through it as quickly as possible instead of taking my time. That cost me some time. I'd say it was worth it, but it wasn't. Then again, saying it wasn't worth it would be a lie too. I can't even keep the truth straight anymore. After failing to blow up a bridge, I saw the option to press the pretty button and got excited. I wasted a bunch more lives in this open courtyard part. There were just a lot of enemies to contend with. We escaped in a jeep, drove off a cliff, parachuted to safety, and Frost joined Sandman to locate and rescue the Russian president and his daughter. Fight through a destroyed office building in search of a target. It doesn't get much more first-person shooter than that. Sniper rifle the annoying children across the lane. Call in a strafe run on the red boxes down below. Listen as Granite Team is turned into human confetti. Do the rope thing down onto the street. There's a word for it, but I couldn't spell it right, so I just cut it out. In this section, you're alongside tanks and many friendly soldiers. If you sit back and don't do anything stupid, you won't have any problems. The collapsing building is kind of a problem, though. Kind of, not a big one. More of a minor inconvenience than anything else. Upstairs, Sandman used my body as a cushion, President's daughter got, and I entered a Minecraft to once and for real rescue the President and his daughter, to keep Makarov from getting the nuclear launch codes and making us all wish for a nuclear winter. I had a hard time with the very beginning of this mission. A lot of guys all shooting in a small open space makes it likely that you'll get hit even if you're barely peeking out from behind cover. The next area wasn't any easier. Come to think of it, this entire mission kinda sucked. You've got people on multiple levels, concealed behind cover, a precarious situation to be in for sure. Then you're back outside, where you're given control of a Predator missile to wipe out large groups of enemies. Just do yourself a favor and don't get stepped on by the helicopter. I noticed here that for some reason, the M4A1 with iron sights has a much bigger zoom than a red dot sight, which is weird. After our rope-assisted free fall down into the heart of the mine, we spent several minutes removing anything the crosshairs didn't like from the area. Time consuming to be sure, but in the end, I single-handedly rescued the president. Makarov's men made one last-ditch effort to stop us. I might have gotten lost on my way to the objective. I got a boo-boo in my chest cavity and got dragged to the plane as Sandman and his men laid down their lives to ensure we got out alive. He died as he lived, off-screen. With the president safe, Yuri and I, me now being Price, began our assault on Makarov's last standing hideout. At first, I thought this would be hell. You're greeted by 8 men wielding automatic weapons the second you exit the van. The armor you're in is meant to allow you to take as much damage as I did when I fought my air conditioner. But when you can't take any damage in the first place, all this does is make everything more difficult. Thankfully, you aren't disqualified if you sit back behind destroying cars while Yuri walks forward at a crippled snail's pace. He'll throw a fit about you lollygagging and instructs you to not shoot civilians. But his suggestions were too complex for the suggestion box, so I ignored them, just as I ignored the damage taken from this helicopter. The elevator has to reach a certain height to trigger the cutscene. You can't destroy the bird or hide from it before then. You must take damage. Our armor was burnt to a crisp, which was why we ditched it, and began the final assault against Makarov's men the old-fashioned way, that being shot a lot of f***ing times. Probably didn't help that I got a checkpoint while I was laying on my stomach reloading a shotgun. Moral support took a hit as well when I took damage and couldn't jump out of the tower. As much as I loved the Spaz 12, it wasn't enough to get the job done, and the PKP is a loser's weapon. I went for the P90 and ran the swear word away. Everyone knows a submachine gun works at its best at an extreme distance. Another helicopter blasted the restaurant. Yuri got a toothpick stuck in his tummy. I leapt towards Makarov's chopper, took out his pilot, failed at regaining control of it. We crashed. That's it. The game ends. The game part of the game ends, I mean. A QuickTime event counts as gameplay like my videos count as funny. Yuri got another boo-boo, this time inside his face. I wrapped a string around Makarov's neck, strung him up like a piñata, lit up a cancer stick, and did not beat Modern Warfare 3 without taking any damage. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything, leave a like. Leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy the video or didn't learn anything. Thanks to the champion tier supporters as well as other channel members for making videos like this one possible. Follow me on Twitter at Mitten Squad, join the Mitten Squad, join the sometimes official Christian Ratatouille fan club Discord server through a link in the video description. My name is Paul of Mitten Squad. Have a wonderful day.